Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. And today, we had the budget come out recently. Today, we've been going through some different articles in the news, and I have another one.
Oh yeah, but everybody should see the last one, so
Right.
That one was fun.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got this time?
So this is an article from CTV News, and the headline reads, "Home prices could hit peak levels by next year and set new highs in 2026, according to a CMHC report." Okay.
New highs in 2026. Hey, we just had the home budget come out to try to make housing more affordable for all Canadians. And then CMHC, government corporation as well.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see prices at new peak levels at 2026. This is kind of like, what's going on here? All right.
Well,
I'm sure they have more.
Yeah, well, for one thing, CMHC is not an elected body; they're employees. It's the people that are elected that roll out policy, because they're about to roll into a new election.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation is forecasting home prices could match peak levels as seen in early 2022 by next year and reach new highs by 2026. The agency's latest housing market outlook released Thursday says despite an increase in rental housing coming on the market in 2023, supply is not forecast to keep up with demand. I laugh because I know where this is going to end up, leading to higher rents and lower vacancy rates in coming years. Unfavorable financing conditions are expected to make it more difficult for home builders to start new rental projects in 2024. We anticipate by 2025 to 26, lower interest rates, continued government support, and policies encouraging greater density in urban centers should make more projects viable. Now they're talking strictly about rental projects.
And there's a lot of incentive if it's through CMHC, the new programs through the federal budget for rental buildings to build them. Yeah, GST exemptions, all kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
The CMHC said affordability in the home ownership market will also be a concern for the next 3 years as declining mortgage rates and the country's strongest population growth since the 1950s will likely spur a rebound in home sales and prices.
And that's all prior to the expiry of if it does expire, if they don't extend it, the foreign buyer ban. So I'm not sure where they're getting I know permanent residents can end up like buying homes.
Yeah.
But if they're still not a permanent resident, which it takes time to qualify.
Yeah.
So there would be a backlog of demand. I wonder if this sort of takes that into account. Because historically, CMHC reports these outlooks are sort of 6 months behind.
Right.
But anyways, moving on.
Okay, as mortgage rates and economic uncertainty decrease in the second half of 2024, we expect buyers to start returning to the market. It is said the resurgence would also be driven by a shift in demand towards lower priced homes and markets across Canada. So, and that's a good thing in terms of, we talked about, you don't necessarily need to live in the nicest neighborhood to find something that's
all of
affordable.
Canada is not Vancouver and Toronto. There's plenty of there's so many markets. Yeah.
So then they talk about some stats and some different things like that.
It's interesting that they would have a positive outlook after sort of last year you could say that was it wasn't a crash. It was a correction. And typically after a correction, the market recovers and then goes flat.
Yeah.
The prices may go up, but just marginally.
Yeah.
But it goes flat for a few years, 5-6 years. I'm just thinking about my own house and I would see other houses that are sort of comparable and it's it's kind of the same price still. It's kind of the same price still.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, as the market start going up.
Yeah.
But it took probably 5 or 6 years, more than that, more than 5 or 6 years, for it to start gaining, where similar houses were selling, and I was thinking like, wow, look how much they're selling for, because I try not to look at the house, like the value of my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did notice. So it's interesting to say, even like by 2026, that like we might be seeing like return to peak levels.
Yeah, it's interesting also because we talked about as far as nationally, and you just said it, we are not Toronto or Vancouver, the whole nation.
Yeah.
But they make a point here also. The CMHC expects that the prairie provinces will perform well, citing affordable home prices and a stronger economic outlook, which will likely attract home buyers and job seekers, leading to increased construction.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? We had 37,000 and change people from BC move to Alberta.
Yeah.
There was more than that altogether that left BC, but
Yeah.
there was 37. That was the majority of them moved to Alberta.
Yeah.
And it's probably for all of those reasons you just said.
Yeah, and they reference the rest of the country here too. I may as well just read them since we're here.
Okay.
Okay. The CMHC forecasts Ontario and BC will drive the decline in national housing starts this year, warning developers may struggle to boost even apartment construction amidst the challenges such as financing costs. So we talked about the prairies. In Quebec, housing starts are expected to grow but remain below post-pandemic levels after a sharp decline in new home construction. And the Atlantic region will likely see less pressure on new home construction than it has since 2022 from unusually strong migration, as starts in certain eastern provinces will remain historically robust, but will realign more closely with weaker population growth. So they're expecting the Maritimes to continue to grow, at least for the immediate future, and the prairies as we see.
Right, and we're looking at smaller numbers, but the percentages might look bigger. Like as when they're
Sure.
actually reporting.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's a smaller population, smaller price point, all of those things, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
An increase in construction starts by, I don't know, 200, 300 might feel like a big percentage.
Yeah.
Where here, that's a drop in the bucket.
Sure.
Or for Vancouver, Toronto, that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I think the one thing that also speaks to is that, and we've said this historically, looking at Victoria's trends, is that when there's been a downturn in the Victoria market, historically, within 12 to 18 months of that downturn, the recovery has been to a higher level than prior to that downturn. And we're already starting to see homes go into multiples again. We're starting to see prices.
Select areas, select homes. It's not broadly.
Not everything.
But yeah.
But we're starting to see prices start to, inch up a little bit, or maybe stay firm where they are. It has to be priced
Marginally.
Yeah, it has to be priced right. It has to be, can't be like it was before, where as long as you had a door that people could walk through, you could charge whatever you wanted. Almost, it felt like, right?
And undesirable propities were selling.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore. It's still got to be priced right, but those properties that are priced right in the neighborhoods that are desirable, they're not lasting long.
And still, like, even if you're not in the hot spots, sellers need to be patient. The buyers are out there. The sense of urgency isn't the same as 2 years ago, where the fear of loss was that was the craziest part.
Right. I still remember with clients that
fear of missing out. That's what it's called.
FOMO.
Yeah.
We wrote on 8 properties before we got one.
Yeah.
8 properties.
Yeah, I felt like I was writing offers every day.
Yeah.
During COVID time.
Yeah. So I think, anyway, I said that to say, I think that we're going to see, as we've said here, the market certainly continue to move along, continue to pick up, especially as we head into the summer and into the fall, because from what everybody is saying right now, there is an interest rate drop coming.
We are waiting with bated breath,
right?
And we shall see.
Yeah, and for some people, we may think, well, what's a tenth going to do? 10 points. But it might be the difference for somebody to be in this price point or this price point. So in this bracket of home or this bracket of home. Maybe that's the person that's going from a 2-bedroom condo to a 3-bedroom house or townhouse.
That's a very logical reasoning that, like, like Spock would, like, make a decision on. But the rest of us humans make decisions emotionally and then justify them logically.
Yeah.
So I think if we have like a positive sentiment in the market, if we have 1 or 2 basis point going down, everybody's going to go nuts.
Yeah.
And then all together, all the buyers will come to the market, and then we'll be competing offers, all of those things again, right?
Right.
So if you had a contrarian point of view, where a smart investor would take the emotions out
Yeah.
and be more like Spock,
Yeah.
buy when no one else is buying,
Yeah.
not when everybody's rushing.
100%.
Like you would have already bought when the market was at its lowest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's it for today. And obviously we've gone through the bulk of that article. And so if you have any, maybe you have some ideas or you have some thoughts on what we've read, certainly put it in the comments. If you haven't, please take a minute, subscribe to the channel. We are putting out 4 or 5 episodes a week, I think, right?
as much as we
Something
can.
like that.
Yeah.
We might be up that high some weeks. So you want to make sure you don't miss out. So please take a minute and subscribe. If you think there's somebody who would get something out of the information that we're sharing, take a minute and let them know about it as well. So
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, and live long and prosper.
live long and prosper.